Welcome back to my Factorio Let's Play. In the last one, we got set up with some nuclear items. Well, we started to. Um, However, steel's pretty lacking. So I'm going to try to tackle fixing that steel issue as well as continue along this. So this I can do from right here. It's the nice thing about bots is you can start doing stuff remotely. And what I'm going to do with the copper here, I'm just going to feed it onto the belts that are already there, like how this one, oh, these aren't powered up. Like how this one, I just fed onto this belt, so this belt's full again. These two drills of belts I put onto this one. I'm going to put those other three that are here, 1, 2, and 3. So that way it fills the belts up again and hopefully gets our copper back. Which, I mean, it already is off that one, but this will just set it up for a while. From us having a copper shortage again. Definitely preemptive is always good in this game. Doing stuff to solve a problem that you may have in the future, always very useful. Okay. Gonna have this turn and go this way. And I'm gonna throw down this deconstruction planner of rocks and trees. So that's gonna take some time. I'm also, how many of our bots are being used now? Good chunk of them. I'm also going to throw down, I'm gonna try to tap this for more steel, but in order to get all the way out there, we gotta get it connected to the RoboPort network. And honestly, I don't want to do that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'll just walk out there because, like I was saying about making the RoboPort network too big before you have more bot speed, it's just not great. It'll slow the robots down a ton. So, well, I'm up in the north. I'm gonna get some more vision going also. That deconstruction planer so big. Oops. Cancel. There's a biter nest right out here, it looks like. Yep, we're getting pretty close to it. So I'm gonna try to take these guys out. Surprised they haven't attacked me yet. Oh, my pollution's not even that far yet. That's why they didn't attack me. But while I'm here, I might as well just kill them, so. Oh, he's ran out of ammo. Yikes. There we go. I kind of burned through the ammo at this point. Now that we got all those attack speed upgrades. So let's get more vision down here. And right here should be good. We have these researched, so that's awesome. Space science. We need to redo this. I need to look at this and yeah. This is gonna not work because we have too many things. Too many things. Too much on this belt. I'll have to reevaluate this because this is just not great. But for now, it'll just keep working, doing its thing. But I think now that we took some time to wait, we should, possibly not, but we should have more of this built up. Space platform. We have a good amount, so we can maybe make it a little bit bigger. That was like my main thing, was the space up there was limited. Plus I'm like just doing it on my own. I'm not really like using a blueprint or watching a video or anything. I've been watching some videos for this playthrough just to refresh myself on certain things, but a lot of this stuff I'm just doing freehand, and that's why it looks kind of janky and not great. But I think that's kind of the fun part, right? Is I'm kind of just playing and I'll run into issues and then I'll just have to find a way to fix them. Oops. Okay. I think I placed one more thing that I'm going to go power up, and then we can worry about, I think next I'm going to get more steel going, because I hate not having enough steel. There's so many things that take it at this point in the game. Okay, so we got all this lit up. That's going to bother me really bad. Almost all this lit up, besides these 4 small little squares. Whatever. Now we got this all lit up. Okay. So now we can go back. And those things are going to get us vision. And we're going to go work on getting more steel. And once I do that, I can redo the space science setup because I know it's not great. Whoops. We don't have a super high output of space science, but I think early on it's okay to not have like a crazy amount of science output because eventually you're going to get ways to increase it. So just putting speed modules in all these because there's just never enough red chips being made. And let's see. We're not making any low density structures right now, which is also going to inhibit our rocket launches because those take a lot of steel. So yeah, the main thing we are struggling on right now is steel. And I could just put a bunch of speed modules in these. It would speed them up a little bit, but we're already kind of pushing it with power. So I think until, how much power are we using for this setup of these? 17 megawatts. That's not that many. So we have like almost 100 electric furnaces taking 17 megawatts of power. I'll probably do... We're almost out of coal too down here, so... Oh man. I wonder if this much coal could... If I could just run this belt up and make another smelting thing like this one. Honestly, okay, looking at this, half of these are just sitting here idle, which means we could probably make 12. There's 24 total. Yeah, so these are only using half of the amount of speed. What am I trying to say? The smelting iron plates, half of these are just full because the belts aren't moving fast enough, which means these aren't pulling fast enough, which means I can make about 2 times as more of these and just use the same outputs of steel and it should keep up, actually. So I'm going to try that. Before I start drilling a bunch more iron ore and like build a whole nother setup, I think I could use what's being idle right here to make like basically double this. So we're gonna do this. Oh, you know what? This doesn't have any. That. Let's try it. So this is gonna go right here. Where is this gonna go? This is huge. I can move these roboports around. It's gonna go right here. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We are going to, because this is just not being fully used. So we can basically continue this. And we want it to connect right here. And this we might run out of iron ore now before it gets all the way to the end. It might not be a perfect ratio, but it'll at least give us a bit more steel and it'll fix the issue of like these. Oh no. It'll fix the issue of these smelters over there just sitting idle. So this output's gonna go right here. Move this up a little bit. This is getting kind of messy. But as long as it works, I don't really care. Oh, that looks horrible. Oh well. Okay, so this one's gonna come right here. And then we need this one and this one. And we're bringing the steel and we're just going to merge it onto the current belt of steel. This looks so bad and so messy, but this will fix our steel problem. So I don't really care right now. We need this coming out. It's gonna go up, and this one right here is gonna snake around and go up. So basically I'm just continuing. If I had the space, I'd do it in one long line. I don't have the space over here because I left our rocket ship here, but this was only using about half of the available stuff for this one. So we're gonna need to put more iron ore here too, because it's getting pretty slim. This patch is thinning out. But some of these were sitting idle, so I'm just extending the belts and bringing them up here to be smelted at another thing of steel smelting, so that we just are using up all the available iron plates before I make a whole nother setup. Drilling iron ore, making iron plates, making steel plates. Good. And that should give us a lot more steel. And like I said, these ones might stop working if it gets used before it gets down here. Maybe it'll keep up. I don't know. I definitely do know that I'm going to need more iron ore, which that'll be easy to do. I'll just do that right now while I'm thinking about it. But that should give us a lot more steel, because it's combining this whole line, this whole line, this whole line, this whole line. And I'll probably do the same thing where I just combine them onto these 4 belts. So like one on this one, one on this one, one on this one, one on this one. Just run them into the same belts. That way we have like 4 full red belts of ore again. Alright. So I'm going to build this once, and then after I build it once, then I'm going to slap down some copies. Okay, so I built that. Now I'm going to copy and paste it. Then I have this giant line. I can copy and paste it, make it longer. And I can copy this again, paste, paste, and paste. Now we have 4 more, soon to have 4 more belts of ore. And there's still a bunch left that we can tap when we desperately need it later. We're gonna run out of belts here, but I want to do one of my balancers so it's evenly pulling and evenly distributing from all of these. And then undo that. We're gonna do it right here because these cliffs are in the way. There we go, like that, like that. This one. And this one. I'm gonna run out of red belts here, so I'm gonna have to go restock. But now we're getting a bunch more iron ore, and these are gonna connect up over here. Let's get us pretty close at least. Let's get rid of all these trees. I'm gonna use all the bots in our network again to get rid of the trees. And I'm gonna go down and this way. I know for a lot of things I should be using trains by now. I don't know. I really am not that good at using trains. I've done a little bit with trains in this game. You would think after the amount of hours I have, I'd be really good at using them, but I just really don't do a lot with trains. But like this distance from here to here is not that far, so I'm like, oh, I can still use belts. Some of these are really far, but like these are kind of temporary, right? I'm gonna get rid of the big ammo lines eventually when I get laser turrets and stuff. Once I start, I'm getting all this vision up here, so depending on where, what it starts to look like on, farther out, I'll definitely start using trains. Because my goal ultimately is to have like a big base that's like this big with, the city blocks and trains flying everywhere. I've always wanted to do that and never kind of gotten to that point in the game. But at that point, it's like necessary. Like belts are just too slow. So I'm kind of running up this way to wait for my bots to bring me materials. Are these keeping up? These are not keeping up. Why is that? Because they're not getting ore now. And you know what? I see the issue. Okay. I see the issue. Some of these did not get undergrounds placed. That's great. They just haven't been working. And that explains somewhat. This is flipped around the wrong way. Research, let's see. We could get the tier 2 modules. Researched, probably not made, because all the tier 2 modules take blue chips, if I remember right. Yeah, blue chips. So that gets expensive. Alright, that's enough. I can connect this. These bots can bring me this stuff later. I feel bad for these bots. Like, I don't want to leave the logistics network and they traveled all this way and then they'll just go back. But I also don't want to just stand here forever. Power-wise, man, I just missed clicking on that power pole like 4 times. Power-wise, we're still doing okay. We're surviving on the reserves, battery reserves, overnight. Oops. Okay. A lot of this mid game is running out of things like iron, copper, steel, power, and having to do maintenance, redo some stuff, add some more to it. Because I built this whole thing and it was working great, but then, you know, a couple episodes ago, these stopped making because the copper wasn't making it all the way, so, or the iron, and then after that it was like steel, and so like a lot of the mid game is you know, even going big on something like this, yeah, I got all the late game items, but then I start needing to supplement in more ore patches because we're using the ore patches up, or more smelting because we have faster belts and things are demanding more. So yeah, that's just a big part of like the mid game is getting your bottlenecks fixed. Alright, so we're back to having more ore. So this should eventually fill up. Wait, here I messed up. This one needs to connect down here to this one because these 2 belts are going into the same one. And I want 4 even belts that are full. Alright, so that's great. Works for now. For now we have 4 full belts of iron ore. These will start to get full again. I don't even think this is gonna be like fast enough to keep up with, like, these are definitely not gonna be running most of the time now that I'm looking at it. So it won't be 2 full things. But for now, it's a little bit more steel. I just don't want to go too crazy on like using modules, speed modules on all these, because these have spaces for modules so that you can make them faster that way, but each one of these takes extra power. So this one right now, max consumption 186 kilowatts. If I am to put 2 speed modules in here, it goes up to 360 kilowatts, doubles the amount of power it takes. So, and it's not that much of a speed difference. Like if you look, it's making 0.17 per second versus it was making 0.12 per second. So like if I put it in all of them, yes, it will make more, but then it'll tax the power grid a lot more too in large quantities. So you just got to be careful early on. But it's a little bit more full. Steel is always something that's very difficult to get lots of early on. But once we get to one of the planets, that will change and we will get lots of steel. Well, maybe a couple of the planets. Once we get foundries from one of the planets and then some other researches, we can make tons of steel and it'll be awesome. If that's a little ways down the road. I think in the next one I might reevaluate my space science platform because it's deadlocked. No, this is not moving at all. And we've run out of Haven't run out of anything yet, but these aren't moving, so I'm pretty sure it will very shortly run out of stuff. Because I don't have some way to like vent things so it keeps moving. Maybe if I were to do this. I don't have a splitter up there, so I can't do that. This is going to be just kind of wasting some, but it'll at least keep the belts moving for a bit. Yeah, very temporary solution, because if I leave this going forever, it'll throw everything into space, but it'll at least keep the belts moving for a little bit, and I can just turn it when I need it to stop. But yeah, so I think in one of the next episodes, I'll fix that. Our steel eventually should catch up with our new setup. We'll probably always need more. And in one of the next episodes, after I fix the space science, we can look at maybe getting some of these other sciences going in the meantime. But anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone who's leaving comments and pointing out stuff. I'm learning a lot too with editing. I think I fixed the quality issue I was having a couple videos ago, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.